Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, better known as the RSS. For decades, there's been this one big question hanging over the group. Just how big is its global network, really? Because it seems the official story and what's happening on the ground are two totally different things. Okay, so on the one hand, the RSS officially says it has about 36 affiliates. That's the number they'll give you. But on the other hand, new research has documented over 2,500. I mean, that's not a small discrepancy. That's a whole different universe. So what's the real story here? What does this network actually look like? To get to the bottom of this, we're diving into something called the Seeing the Sangha Project. It was this massive 6-year investigation that did something pretty clever. It set out to map the entire network just by following the Sangha's own public paper trail. So how in the world did they do it? Well, it wasn't guesswork. It was a really rigorous, data-driven process. First, they just excavated everything they could find, the Sangh's own publications, financial records, you name it. Then they analyzed all that evidence against a 34-point checklist to find real, tangible links, not just, fuzzy ideological similarities. So, the big reveal. After 6 years of all that digging, what did the project actually find? Let's just say the numbers are pretty staggering. The project managed to identify over 2,500 distinct organizations tied to the Sangh. And we're not talking about a loose collection of groups here. The evidence points to a really tightly networked family of organizations, a whole coordinated global ecosystem that just completely dwarfs that official number of 36. And this chart really shows you just how global this network is. I mean, yeah, the huge majority of affiliates are in India, no surprise there. But look at this, over 100 in the United States alone, and dozens more across Australia, the UK, and Canada. This footprint stretches way, way beyond India's borders, really aiming to shape diaspora communities all over the world. The lead researcher, a guy named Felix Paul, he didn't mince words. He framed his findings like this, which, wow, it really underscores the scale and, frankly, the historical significance of what they found. It sort of repositions the Sangh not just as an Indian group, but as a major global player. So you might be wondering, how does a network this huge actually operate, especially when most of it is unofficial? Well, the secret is all in understanding the difference between its formal and informal connections. See, a very, very small number of these organizations have a formal parent-daughter relationship. These are the ones the RSS officially counts. They're easy to trace because the link is public. It's right there in the open. But the vast majority of those 2,500-plus organizations are what the researchers call linked organizations. The connection here is informal. It's often unacknowledged. But, and this is the key part, it's demonstrated through concrete material ties. It's just as real. And these informal links were proven by tracing really tangible stuff. This wasn't about who believes what. It was about hard evidence. They literally followed the money. They found people who were leaders in multiple groups at the same time. They found organizations sharing the same physical addresses. And they documented events that were held jointly. Here's a perfect real-world example of how this all works. The RSS publicly states they do not hire any lobbying firms in the U.S., but public disclosure filings show that organizations linked to the RSS, through those shared people and addresses we just talked about, paid a lobbying firm $300,000. It's a crystal clear example of how money and influence can flow right through this informal network. And this whole structure, the formal denial on one hand and the informal connections on the other, it creates a huge problem when it comes to accountability. How can you hold a network responsible for anything when its very core denies that it even exists? And the experts we reviewed in the source material, they call this the accountability gap. I mean, think about it. There's no central registration, no single bank account. The way money moves around is incredibly opaque. And it gives the central organization what's called plausible deniability. So they can operate as one big unit, but disavow the actions of any single affiliate if things go wrong. This strategy isn't new. The sources point to a major historical precedent. After Gandhi's assassination by Nathuram Godse, a man who was trained by the RSS, the organization immediately denied any connection at all. That moment kind of set the playbook for plausible deniability that's been used ever since. So it all really boils down to this one last question. What does it actually mean when a global network is built from the ground up to have its influence be so much bigger than its formal accountability? It challenges our traditional ideas of how power and responsibility work on the world stage. And that's something worth thinking about.